everyone? This is your old pal CHH, and I've got to talk to you guys today. I really wonder sometimes if physical media has gone too far. I mean, there are things going on today that are somewhat infuriating. One of the first things I'm seeing, and I thought this was a joke. I can't even lie. I really thought this was a joke. People were showing me that this Deadpool Wolverine Steelbook thing was coming out at like $60-$50. There's one person I talked to that said they were able to get it at some kind of Disney store it was like a Disney store thing that they were able to be at, and they got it for like 30. But people were like, no, I did a live stream a while back, and people were showing me that they were paying retail like $50-$60 for these steelbooks, and I'm wondering what the hell is going on. It's a double-edged sword too, because I understand that these movies are really popular. They're not my cup of tea per se, but I have no doubt in realizing their popularity and how much they make people happy. And I'm wondering, is this just the studio actually saying, F them? We know people are going to buy this because sometimes titles are so big and people love it so much. Even if they're not really big physical media collectors, they're collectors of these movies and properties. They'll pay for this. And I'm thinking to myself, I want to be like, guys, like, F them, don't pay it, because they're going to drop the price dramatically on this if it doesn't sell through. And some people might argue, like, what they'll say is, oh, well, physical media is done. We're not going to put much effort in fun steelbooks for stuff like this. But, man, I've watched enough Shark Tank. You have too. Like, what they pay to manufacture it as opposed to what they sell. Are you kidding me? Like, no, they could probably drop that stuff down to $25 and they're still making money on them. And it's just like crazy. Like, why has the race to the bottom start to begun with physical media? And I'm not excluding myself, because some of you that are fans of this channel know exactly where I'm going to go with this. The FOMO thing is so preyed upon today, it's not even funny with the limited stuff that we're having. But there's a new caliber of physical media. You know, back in the day when Scream Factory first came out, the idea of getting a movie with a slipcover that was new art was like mind-blowing. Ask anybody that was around back then. It was effing like mind-blowing to get like a slipcover that had new art on it. And that was enough. That was considered, collector's market stuff. And sometimes I miss those days, but there are things about today that I do enjoy at the same time. But as time went on, we started to see the levels get raised a little bit. I think the perfect medium that we really saw was around 2015-16 when Arrow Video started doing their deluxe releases. That they were still modestly priced in the mid-30s range, but you would get, the hard shell box, the movie on a nice 4K scan Blu-ray or 4K itself, Blu-ray at that time, and then the booklet and cards and stuff. It was a great way for you to be able to have the option to get something a little bit more prestigious for a movie you loved. I'll never forget one of my favorite releases of all time that they did was the House Collection. In America, we had the Two Stories Collection, and it was this gorgeous box that they put these movies in, and then it came with a really cool booklet. It was a hell of a physical media release, and still today, when you look at it, it has the prestige of physical media that you would want today when you think about prestigious releases, you think about collector's releases. And it's not really, despite the fact that it's even more premium today, and there's stuff that's even more, like, you still look at those releases as top tier quality. I think that was where the perfect medium was those releases. Arrow Video made a blueprint for what to do, but the thing that other companies forgot is the price of that, and other companies decided to jump the shark altogether. There is a new kind of physical media today. So moving past just the point of way overpriced, super overpriced steelbooks like $50, which we can't buy. I mean, it's just setting a precedent. But the thing is, they're going to tank eventually because they're going to think that one movie is going to be able to push the product like that. Come to find out, it's not. I can tell you this right now. I think that movie Twisters probably is not as popular on home video as they might have thought it was, because my Walmart has steelbooks for that movie on 4K. they never get steelbooks for movies. Unless it's the biggest movie in the world where they just print up a godforsaken amount of copies, we usually don't get 4K steelbooks. Twisters, I got it. So they probably shit the bed a little bit on that one. But here's what's going on today. This is why I ask, has physical media gone too far? There is a new level of physical media release. So what did we have in the past? We had standard releases where movies were just coming out and it was a case and everything, nothing wrong with that. Then you had the collector's editions from like Scream Factory, which was when they were, well, the heyday of physical media, quite frankly. Then they had the deluxe releases, which I think is what ended up having Arrow do, where they made the blueprint for what is really the perfect medium, and they really haven't strayed away from that, and God bless them for that. But now today, there's something called super premium. Now, I'm not trying to copyright this. I haven't heard anybody else call it this, but this is what I'm calling it. It's called super premium releases. People, including myself, were falling victim to some of this stuff, and we need to address it, and we need to talk about how this can be okay, but there has to be parameters to this. Number one, elephant in the room. Yes, super premium releases is stuff like that damn plastic chainsaw that they did with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Dark Sky knew what they were doing. They've got the greatest horror film ever made, in my opinion, so they're going to put out releases to try to capitalize on it. That thing should be $120 max. I was a sucker and had FOMO and bought it, just like a lot of people, and it also put a lot of people in a tough spot. Now, here's something you won't hear much people say, but from the YouTuber side of it, I didn't get sent the thing. I paid for it, but I saw. I did go online the other day and look up videos of this thing, and you can see people doing their best not to be negative about it, because if a company's sending it to them, you don't want to burn that bridge, but you also don't want to lie. That's a whole other side of it. Well, so I'll even just move past that. My point is, yeah, some people were really in a rock and a hard place doing their best to try to sound positive about that thing, but there's nothing positive about it. It is a ripoff to the 10th degree, but there is this level of physical media today that is really pushing it with physical media collectors. And the problem is, a lot of people are getting this stuff, but they're instantly regretting it and they're feeling bad about it. And I just don't know if it's good for physical media. I don't. For instance, here's something that a lot of people are interested in. I never got this, although I like the movie, but not enough to want to get this. There's this, I believe it's Imprint. It could be Imprint, I'm not sure. But there's this Never-Ending Story release that is expensive. It's well over $100. And it comes with a lot of cool stuff, but it's almost like, why is it not just having the movie on 4K enough for some people anymore? Some people it is. But what they're doing is they are tearing and gouging at the heartstrings of us with these kinds of releases. And I don't know if this has a standard release already announced, but the problem is, and I'll stand corrected if I'm wrong on this, but if that is the only release that's announced or available for Neverending Story right now, that's the big problem here. If you have variety and options, I can't be upset about this kind of stuff, because sometimes I want to do it. Like, I'll be honest with you, the Mario Brothers set that Umbrella did, I mean, I don't regret it at all. It's one of my favorite releases of physical media I own. It is so cool. The book is one of the best books I've ever seen from a physical media release. That book covers everything from the toys that came out in the stores to the production notes to everything. It's one of the best books of a movie I've ever seen. But Umbrella gave a ton of options for that. You could have gotten that deluxe set, or then you could have gotten a more smaller set, or you could have just gotten the movie. The problem is if we have situations where that's the only thing. And I'll even give Dark Sky credit there. I mean, it's not like you can't just get Texas Chainsaw Massacre on 4K if you want it. But we're seeing this come out, and the problem is, and this is where kind of like the self-reflection has to come in, where you can't really blame the physical media companies too much, but we have to have this conversation. And I don't know if people are willing to have this conversation, but it's true. We have to look at ourselves sometimes more than what the companies are doing, especially if they give you options. I have seen people online literally having panic attacks on what to do with Art the Clown stuff right now. Umbrella is doing amazing work, and they're making some sensational sets, and they're giving options. So this is not a knock on them, it's more so on us. But I'm seeing people freak out because they're doing these bundles and they're doing this box set of the art films, but Damien has already said he's making more. So people are like, oh, I want this, I don't want to miss this set, I need this set, but they're going to do another one, so then I'm going to have to buy a whole nother box set next year when they put out part 4 and Umbrella does another collection, or if there's an American collection that comes out, I'm going to have to do it again. Oh, and then what if he makes it a part 5? Then they're going to do another collection, so I'm going to be rebuying these movies over and over again. Listen, if I'm a physical media company and I have the ability to get the license for this stuff and do really cool stuff, that's the name of the game. Like, you're a company, of course. If you're a company, are you going to say to yourself, okay, we're not going to put out a box set of the Terrifier movies together right now because in maybe 5 years after the next 2 come out, then we can do it then? Well, you're robbing yourself of capitalizing on the 3rd movie. Not to mention, like I said, they're giving you the options. You can have part 3 by itself, or you can even buy part 1 on 4K, which they offer by itself. So that's where I applaud the companies for giving people the options. But the problem can be when it's only the option to spend X amount of money. But this is what I was talking about, there's premium physical media, but then there's super premium. And the super premium is now these bundles that come out with not only the movies in the box set, but they come with glasses, they come with Legos, they come with this, and they come with that. It's awesome stuff, and if you want that, man, go for it. I'm not going to say I don't want that stuff. Sometimes it can be so fun, and you honestly kind of can get more bang for your buck during those promotions, because if you kind of tally everything up, which is great, but the problem is the collectors and the people out there, we are put in dilemmas when you know there's going to be more. That's something we just have to think about. I do think that physical media has probably gone a little too far sometimes because of the prices that are becoming more standard. Now, you could say it's the economy, or you can say things like that. But, I mean, if you look at TerraVision, they put out bundles that are just as much stuff, including like t-shirts, which t-shirts aren't cheap, and you're still paying 40% less than some of these other companies that are doing these premium sets. So that's another thing to keep in mind, which is an interesting thing to see. But we have got to be, we have to start being really honest with ourselves as collectors. And I do these videos as a way to keep myself honest and try to be on top of this stuff, because if not, I don't want to fall victim to it as well. But we have to make sure that we're buying stuff in our best interest, right? That's our job as consumers, is to try to get things at the best costs, get things at the best deals, and buy things responsibly. And learn from mistakes. Learn from mistakes, guys. So this super premium line, it can be a problem because of the consumer thinking, okay, well, this is the kind of stuff I want now. This mid-level of, premium, which was the baseline and the best way, which was like the Arrow Deluxe versions, that was awesome. Everybody was totally happy with that. It wasn't until the boxes got a little bit thicker, the booklets got a little bit bigger, and then the additives became a part of it, that became premium. And now when you think about stuff like that, it's not so much premium. So we have got to just educate ourselves. We have got to make sure that these companies continue to give us options. So our only option is not to spend $199 on 2 or 3 movies. That's just the world we're living in. And can't support $65 steelbooks. That's tough. I mean, everybody can do what they want. It's their money. But I think if they see it sell well, I don't be surprised if there's going to be more $65 steelbooks coming out for big titles. And eventually they're going to do something where people are going to say, nah, F that. I like that movie, but I'm not paying $65 for that. That's insane. I don't know what that means. That's the kind of stuff that's going to kill the steelbook game. And I know people love steelbooks, but God, that's crazy. I still really don't believe it, that they were charging $60 for Deadpool and Wolverine. That just sounds insane, man. That's the chapter of physical media we're in right now, guys. So let me know your whole thoughts on this. Do you think that we have gone too far with this super premium stuff? Or as long as we have options, can you live with that? Can you deal with that? And you'll just have to fight off the fear of FOMO, which is something that has preyed upon us on collectors so much. Let me know your thoughts on this down below, guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Take care. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.